Welcome to Inform New Hampshire. My name is Dean Kern. This is Richie Merritt, my co-host, and we are broadcasting on Mondays at 6:30 p.m. Again, Thursday mornings 7:30, and twice on the weekends. And we have a YouTube channel also called Inform New Hampshire. So you can catch us on YouTube if you do a search there. And we ask that you, if you will, to subscribe to our channel. That would be great. Richie and I are, our goal here is to provide news and information that you won't find on mainstream media. In fact, they are oftentimes forbidden to give you the information that we have, that we're providing here. And we also believe that our country is in deep peril, and it's our hope to inform and enlighten people as to some of the things that are kept in the dark. Tyranny historically always thrives on secrecy, and through the power of the internet, TV, social media, we the people are rising up, taking back our country. And yes, our country has been usurped by in a very sophisticated way, in a number of ways, and we hope that you'll check out our previous shows to see some of that information and continue to watch us in the future. We have a lot more coming to provide you with some news and information that you just obviously won't hear unless you're searching for it. So at this time, I'm just going to turn. Today, we're going to talk about the county sheriffs, and the role, the duties, the obligations of the county sheriff. And I'm going to have Richie start us off today. Richie.
Thank you. I have an announcement, but I'm going to build up to that by giving you a little bit of history as to what's going on with me. But before I even get into that, I wanted to mention something of great importance here in New Hampshire, and that is a good friend of my, Dean and I, by the name of Jerry DeLemus, was arrested last week by the FBI for his actions, I guess, in the Bundy Ranch a couple of years ago, or a year and a half ago, whenever it was. And I believe personally that they're all trumped up charges, and they're all bogus. You know, Jerry's the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. I don't think anybody in the state wouldn't want him for a neighbor, him and his wife Sue. They're very, very good people. They're being railroaded, and I think it's disgraceful. But what I wanted to say is, if anybody wants to help out with their legal fund, and they're not asking, I am, you can go to patriotjerry.com. It's patriotjerry.com. And feel free to donate whatever you'd like to. He is a great guy. I'm sure maybe even some of you know him, or some of you know somebody who knows him. Anyway, thank you for that. Now, as far as the sheriff situation goes, when I got involved with NLA a couple of years ago, I sent numerous letters to the sheriff, because through my research and the research of the people connected with the National Liberty Alliance, we discovered that the sheriff is one of the few positions, if not the only one, who can save America from the direction it's headed in. So anyway, I started sending off letters to the sheriff. The first one I sent was to every sheriff in the state. It was a handwritten letter, basically with a copy of the Constitution in there, United States Constitution, and a common law jury handbook. And I basically said in the letter, I hope this helps you in your job. Please feel free to read it. If you have any questions, give me a call. And the only sheriff who responded was Eli Rivera in Cheshire County. He sent me a letter saying thank you, which I thought was very nice. That's more of a courtesy than I got from any of the other 9 sheriffs. Since that time, and I'm talking about maybe September, October of 2014, I've sent numerous letters to the sheriff, specifically Scott Hilliard up in Merrimack County, because he was the president of the Sheriff's Association, and my letter asked for him to meet with me. I would like to discuss some issues with him. I'm simply a taxpayer, or a cash cow, I guess, for the government, but I asked for that, and I never got any answers at all. When Jim Hardy became the Sheriff Association president, I sent a letter to him. I never got a response. Since that time, I've made phone calls, I've emailed. myself and Dean actually went up to see Scott Hilliard and Jim Hardy, went to their office and requested to see him. And even after that, we still got no response. And my comment, at least to myself, was, Jesus, these people are public servants. They can't even respond. I'm not saying because it's me, but I did request, give me the courtesy of saying, no, I don't want to see you, instead of ignoring me or Dean. They might be doing that to other people too, and that's why I'm mentioning it. I also want to mention that the National Liberty Alliance has sent out quo warrantos, which is by what authority. It was sent out to, and the sheriffs received these all over the country, not just New Hampshire. Mandamus for the sheriff, which is a 25-page document coming from the common law grand jury, which is a legal document. It came under seal. They didn't respond to that. They received numerous other ones. I'm not going to go through the whole list because of time, but there were, I believe, 11 or 12 of these documents that were sent to them, and they never responded to anything. So because of all this, what I consider to be ignorance on their part, and basically what I wanted to tell them was that they are ignorant of the common law of the land, but the supreme law of the land, the United States Constitution, because it's disappeared from this country. And the sheriffs are partially responsible, as are the police, as are the courts, the attorneys are doing it. They're all ignorant of it. And I'm trying to bring it back, and I will continue to try to do that with my dying breath because I believe it's very, very important. With that, all this information that I've just given you, I've decided to run for sheriff for Hillsborough County. And I've decided to do it because my background is in law enforcement. For 16 and a half years in Massachusetts, I was a correction officer and special state police officer. I resigned my position in 1998, went into, took on the president of the consulting firm, United Law Enforcement, located here in New Hampshire, or was in New Hampshire. I just wanted to make a difference for the next generation. I don't believe that what we're leaving them is something that's better than it was left for us. So I'm going to run for sheriff. My mind's made up. I hope that the people in Hillsborough County vote for me. I don't believe that the job is being properly done in Hillsborough County or other county. I believe it's basically ignorance. But if you don't want to listen to somebody who has common sense and the truth, and you shut them out, then how are you going to find out that you're doing something wrong? Not because I say so. Check out what I have to say. This book, the United States Constitution, says it's the supreme law of the land. I didn't say that. The book says it. It's the only law that does. And by the way, I've said this before, but I'll continue to say it. We, the people, wrote this book for the government to obey. If they don't obey it, and they're not, all right, they're taking the Constitution away from us, violating all of our rights. Who is supposed to bring the government to task? I should think it's the people. As a matter of fact, I know it's the people, and I know how to do it. But the people have to know that, or they're going to lose everything. So I think it's important that everybody knows that. It's fallen on deaf ears. I'll continue to work with all the sheriffs in New Hampshire and to speak with them if they'd like to talk to me. Pass this information along. The other important thing I'd like to mention, because myself and Dean are only two people here, and there's 1.5 million people in the state. I'm asking you people that are teachers out there, the police, sheriffs, fire department, if you're a member of a union, please, there's 3 things that I would ask you to do for your country, and this only takes less than 5 hours. You can spend the next month, 2 months, or 3 months doing this. Watch a video called What Happened to the Constitution. It's 1.5 hours long. Watch a half an hour a week for the next 3 weeks. The second one is Season of Treason. Kurt Kellenbeck is the narrator of it, does an excellent job. I disagree with what he wants to see done at the end of the movie, but he's spot on when he comes to talking about what's happening. And that's 1.5 hours long too. The other one is 1 hour and 45 minutes long, and the woman's name is Publius, Publius, Hulda, Huldah, not her real name. She was a former attorney and a JAG officer for the military, and she's the best at explaining the Constitution and what is happening today. And once you listen to her, you will have an understanding of what's going on. Because you don't know this document, that's why you don't know what's going on. You know something's going on, but you don't know what. Please, watch these videos, read this document, whichever you'd like to do. My desire isn't to steer anybody anywhere, just to enlighten people. I woke up at a very late age. I took an oath of office twice when I was in law enforcement, and I didn't know what the Constitution was. So to sit here, I mean, I don't feel comfortable saying that. It's embarrassing. But I took an oath twice to uphold and defend the Constitution. I didn't even know what it was. Now I do know what it is. Now I know what it means and the importance of it, and that's why I'm running for sheriff. So I hope you at least back me, even if you don't vote for me, back me by reading the Constitution, watching these videos. Please, it's very, very important. If the United States goes, and I know some people out there don't even know what's going on. They're clueless, unfortunately. But if the United States goes, the rest of the world goes with it. We're the dominant figure in the world over Europe, Asia, Africa, all the other continents. If we go, you know, it's like a cesspool. When we go down the drain, we're taking a lot of people with us around the world. So there is a way to avoid it. It's you. You have to do it. Get together with us. Join NLA. Join Freedom Force International. There are groups out there that can help get this done. NLA is probably the one with the positive solution, peaceful and legal, to get it done. So I would ask you to do that at least. And get in touch with me and Dean. The email address is on the screen. If you have any questions whatsoever, I challenge judges, attorneys, police, sheriffs, email us. We'll give you a phone number to call in. You can talk on here if you'd like. I'll challenge you. The law that you have, this fictitious law that you have, is bogus. Talk to me about it. Challenge me. I'm a nobody. I'm not a lawyer. I don't have to be to understand this book. I read it. So I challenge you people to come and challenge me. I'm not just saying this. I can back it up. I'll give you that much, and I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Dean. But
Sure. Real quick, since Ritchie mentioned it, the National Liberty Alliance is a nationwide organization. Ritchie and I are state coordinators. We have, like he said, a legal and lawful solution to America's problems, and it mainly resides with reconstituting the common law grand juries. And the sheriff actually plays a big role in that. And I did want to just read something here real quick, Richie. This was a memo to the sheriffs put out by the National Liberty Alliance. Dear Sheriff, did you know your constitutional duties? You do understand that the county sheriff is a constitutional officer elected by the people, bound by oath as guardian of the people's unalienable rights secured by the Constitution. So the Constitution is actually a limiting document, limiting the federal government. And the sheriff's authority is to protect you or we the people from the federal government overstepping its constitutional authority, which it does daily and ongoingly at this point. So when you have instances, for instance, in the Bundy Ranch, the Hammond Ranch out west in Oregon, in every state in this country, the federal government is walking into our counties, and they are required to provide the county sheriff with evidence of due process when they are going to make an arrest in a county. And they don't do that. And it is the sheriff's responsibility to make sure that federal agents do that. When the federal agents don't do that, and they don't allow for due process, for instance, with Jerry DeLemus and his arrest recently, I don't know all the details, so I won't exactly commit to but I'm betting almost anything that they did not have the properly signed and properly signed warrants. I'm not sure, so let me just reserve on that. But due process is required. They probably did not contact the county sheriff. But the county sheriff's job is to protect people from that sort of government tyranny, is what you might call it. Yeah. Overreach. When the sheriff does not protect our rights, the sheriff becomes complicit and is guilty of the same. So something to think about for the county sheriffs and for those of you who are going to vote for sheriffs. We need sheriffs that will abide by their oath. So they took an oath to do what I just told you they are responsible for doing, but they're not doing it. In addition to not doing it, they're allowing banks to come in and foreclose on people's homes and take their homes at foreclosure sales without due process of law at all. And they come in with a SWAT team for, in the case of a couple people we know, little old ladies, and throw them in handcuffs with an entire SWAT team in their house, steal their furniture, steal their personal belongings, throw their stuff out in the street. It's horrifying that these people, these bankers, are getting away with that type of misconduct, illegal activity, and the sheriffs are supporting them when the sheriff's job and oath is to protect we the people from that sort of overreach. So something to consider, folks. We have things upside down and backwards here. Just one more thing here real quick, Richie. Did you know that if the sheriff is ignorant of the Constitution, which they took an oath to, the Constitution being common law, it would stand to reason that the sheriff is then in violation of their oath for not even knowing the Constitution, not comprehending when judges or servants violate the law of the land and thereby technically are guilty of treason. So you want to take over here? Because I got a couple more things if you don't. Go ahead. Yep.
No, a couple of things I wanted to say that I think is very, very important is, and I gave you some videos that you might want to watch. Those are the three best that I've seen. But it struck me today, there are three women out there, and one of them I don't know too much about, and I'm not even going to say her name because we don't endorse her, but Chris Ann Hall, who's coming to New Hampshire July 11th to speak to a group of people, and Dean might even have some success with Publius Holder to have her come out here and speak. Those two women are out there speaking about the Constitution and the ignorance of the people, you and I. And I'm saying to myself, other than me and Dean and Mike Gill, who I am supporting for governor because he wants to fight and get rid of the corruption in the court system, which is rampant. There isn't a judge in America who isn't involved in corruption. Not one. All of them are. None of them are guilty, none of them are innocent, rather, of the corruption. They're all, by virtue of the fact that the system is corrupt and they're working in it. I don't believe they're all bad people, but they're all corrupt. But where are the men? Where are the men standing up for your country and your rights and your family? Slavery is heading your way. You're already a slave and don't even know it. You're a debt slave. We're going to get into that next week. I don't want to get into it today. But you have to understand, if you don't know the Constitution, you don't know what's happening to you. And you can sit there and say, yeah, it's an old document. It's an ancient document. I heard all the arguments. This is a perfect document. If you enforce it, because you, as the steward of this book, made the law. We made this for the government to obey. If they don't obey it, it's up to us to take them to task through the common law grand jury, which is the ultimate authority. The Seventh Amendment in this book, second sentence, says, any fact tried by a jury cannot be otherwise re-examined in any court in the United States. That's simple language. I don't have to consult with an attorney to see what it means. Attorneys represent wards of the state. I'm not a ward of the state. I understand this book, okay? It means what it says. What the common law grand jury says, or a trial jury for that matter, can't be argued in any other court. The decision of the people is final because we wrote the law. Not me and you. Granted, it was other people. It was Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and John Jay were the principal authors of the Constitution. But when they wrote it, they didn't say, I, James Madison, write this book. They said, we the people. They wrote it for us, realizing there were other generations. Well, we're the stewards now. We need to pick this up and carry the torch. And if you don't, you're going to be living under something that you will not like. It's coming. I told you, and a lot of you know this anyway. I watched the video when LaVoy Finnegan got shot. He come out of the car with his hands up. surrendering to the FBI or the government officials, whoever they were. And he was shot 9 times and killed. Is that what you want your government to be like? I don't care if this man was a mass murderer. He gave up. You don't try him with the bullet. You try him in the court of law. That's my whole argument, is that we the people have to carry this torch. And you older people, especially in my generation, the baby boomers, carry the torch for your children and grandchildren. Don't let them do it. Get in touch with the National Liberty Alliance. Sign up, especially if you're here in New Hampshire. We hope to make some changes in this country. It's our government. It's our life. It's our rights. Okay, and it's our choice. Do nothing. Let everything slip away. I'll give you just a quick example. The Second Amendment, and I'm picking that one because it's the shortest one. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Do you understand what that means? Because I do. It means the government doesn't infringe upon my right to keep and bear arms. You can't encroach upon it. You can't come near it. You can't do anything to change the fact that I have the right to keep and bear arms. Now, I know that the fraud, the deception, the subversion, and the treason that our government has committed on us, just on the Second Amendment alone. But you have to know it. What good is it if I know it and no one else does? There are people who do, I understand that, but I'd like to see all Americans stand up and take the country back from the corrupt thugs that are running it now. So I'll ask you to support me for Sheriff of Hillsborough County, and I ask you to support your other sheriffs. Make sure the sheriffs know this book. Ask them, how many articles are in the United States Constitution? If they don't know the answer, don't vote for them. There's 7. How many amendments are there? There's 27. If they don't know that, don't vote for them. Vote them out of office. If they don't know this law, how can they take an oath to uphold and defend it? This is an important matter because the sheriffs can save it. They're the top cop in the state, regardless of what anybody thinks or says. They're the top cop in the state, and they can protect your rights. They can keep the federal government out of the county. Let them do the job. Let the sheriff do the job. They got to make an arrest. Let the sheriff do it. That's what they're there for. Also, they can be a doormat to the federal government and say, sure, come in and do it. Come in and do it. Come in and do it. The hell good is that? What do you need a sheriff for? That's my whole point. Please, I'll give you these again. Do we have time?
You got 4 minutes.
All right, the videos that I would like you to watch, because you may not have had a pen or pencil, is read the United States Constitution. You can get them anywhere. Come to our meetings. Contact us. We'll give you the address. The 3 videos that I think are very, very important to watch is What Happened to the Constitution. And I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he did a very nice job on that video. It's an hour and a half long. The other one is Season of Treason. Kurt Kellenbeck does that. He does a very nice job also. He's the one I disagree with what should be done at the end of that video. I'm not saying that he's wrong. I just happen to disagree. I think there's another avenue. And the third one is Publius, what a name. It's an AKA anyway, but it's Publius Huldah, H-U-L-D-A-H. And Arm Yourself with the Constitution is the name of that video. She is phenomenal. You should watch her. I don't know if anybody's got better common sense than this woman has. She makes you understand exactly what's going on. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dean for the last couple of minutes. But thank you very much for listening. Please do this, even if it takes you a couple hours or whatever, and you think I'm a jerk or you don't want to listen to me anymore, that's fine. I ask you to spread this video along on YouTube. Ask other people to watch it, this video, so that we can spread the word about these other documents and videos. Thank you.
Richie, can you share one more time the website for our friend Jerry DeLemus, the fundraiser website?
Yeah, Jerry's website is www.patriotjerry.com. And if you'd like to help out, please send a small donation or whatever donation you'd like to help with. I'm sure him and his wife would appreciate it. Thank you.
Jerry's, there's a hearing today in Concord right now. Unfortunately, we couldn't be there, but we certainly wish him well and blessings to him and his family. His wife is a representative for the county there, isn't she? State representative for New Hampshire. They're great people, and the feds are out of control. I do want you to know that most of this information that we're talking about, in particular with the sheriff, has been sent to the sheriffs from the National Liberty Alliance, and also a number of documents from the Unified United States Common Law Grand Jury, which is has a court case open, and these are official documents, time-stamped, and then oftentimes they get thrown aside. We found that when we went to Concord to check on the timestamps on the documents sent there, they have no record of them, and of course they don't want to have a record of them. They are clear indicators that they're in complete violation of the Constitution and that they are operating outside of law or in the color of law.
One point I wanted to make, those documents were delivered under seal of the grand jury, and the common law grand jury in the United States is the #1 authority. It's above the Supreme Court. Read out the 7th Amendment if you don't believe that. It's above the Supreme Court.
So we are Informed New Hampshire. We are on YouTube. The National Liberty Alliance is .org, and you can become a member for free. There are free trainings on that website. It's, again, a grassroots nationwide organization committed to bringing about the common law grand juries for we the people to control our government overreach and government corruption. And Richie and I are state coordinators, and we hold weekly meetings here in Manchester. Anyone is welcome. You can email us on the email at the bottom of your screen to find out more information about that. But it's every Wednesday evening, 6:30 in Manchester. We thank you for listening to us. We hope you'll consider some of the things we've said. We're very concerned for our country. If you haven't been informed as to what's happening, keep watching us, because there's a lot more going on that we haven't said, and we'd be happy to increase our audience. So share this with your friends as well. Thank you, and God bless.
Have a good night.